Hello and welcome back to Retirement Ready TV, Cleveland's best resource for important retirement information. Whether you're already in your retirement journey, attempting to figure out when you might be able to take that step, or are just curious about what it takes to plan out a successful path for income in retirement, you've connected with the right place, where we take a deep dive into all things retirement income related. I'm Michelle Davidson, and here with us each Saturday at 7 p.m. is Tim and Laura Schultz of Preservation Retirement Services, the premier retirement planning team in the CLE, who just happen to be the nicest married couple as well.
Thanks, Michelle. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Now let's dive right in, because what I'd like to lead off with is something that is discussed a lot in my house these days, and I'm sure we are not the only ones wondering how it works. Okay, I know there are many options and financial tools and strategies when it comes to planning someone's retirement. Now we've got Roth IRAs, mutual funds and securities, bonds, annuities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I know they all have their place, but how in the world do you figure out what the best approach is when a new person just walks right into the door to meet you?
Wow, that's a big one. I mean, really just comes down to listening. You know, when people come into our office, they want to sit down with us, we walk them through our process, our retirement ready roadmap, and we really find out their hopes, their dreams, fears, concerns, all these things factor into it.
Yeah, a lot of people come in and we say they have the financial junk drawer, right?
Yep.
They've worked all their lives. They have a 401k here, an IRA there. Maybe they have some stocks that they play around with. But there's not this comprehensive plan. And it's not a one-size-fits-all plan. You know, I know a lot of retirement planners, they really focus on products in that first meeting. That you come in, you say, I want growth, so they have a particular mutual fund that they give you. But what we're really asking is, what's important to you in retirement? What are your goals? Is it to really save money for legacy? Is it to spend money on lavish trips every quarter? Is it something in the middle? We have to know the answer to those questions before we can even start to think about products. Products are the last step. Investments are the last step. First, we really want to know what's important to you, client, or clients in retirement, so that we can develop the plan and the strategy to make sure you do your best to realize those goals.
Yes. Everybody is so close. You know, when they come into our office, everybody has a bunch of products or some policies, but a bunch of products and policies a plan does not make. It just needs that last little step to get them to an actual plan. And, you know, that is our retirement ready roadmap that we walk everybody through.
And some people think they have a plan and they come in and I'll say, you know, Mary John, show me their plan. They're like, yeah, I've had an advisor for years. I have a plan. And I'll say, oh, well, let's see it. And this big stack of statements is like plopped down on the desk in front of us. And we're like, well, those are investments, but that's just because you have different accounts doesn't mean that you have a plan. How are they working together? How are they going to work to optimize taxes? Where are you going to draw income from? Because most people need money in retirement. Which account are you going to take that money from? Which investment are you going to liquidate to generate your monthly income? A lot of people, unfortunately, even though they have an advisor, don't have answers to those questions yet. And that's where we can really come in and help.
Absolutely.
Take a step back and look at the bigger picture. I like that. Okay, it sounds like the key to success for you is listening and pulling together a truly customized plan for each individual case. Is that right?
It's so true, because the plan looks very different based on someone's risk tolerance, their goals in retirement. You know, sometimes we have that sort of rare unicorn that comes into our office, right? That person that has that wonderful pension because they worked for the city for all these years. They have $10,000 a month coming in fixed income, and their expenses are $5,000. They're in a surplus in retirement. They don't need to draw down their portfolio. Their plan looks very, very different from the more common person that we see that has that income gap of $2,000 or $3,000 per month. Those plans look really different.
Yeah. We a lot of people come into our office, you know, they feel that they have this cookie cutter plan, that they feel like, you know, I got this, but I feel like what I have, everybody else got the same thing. And that's tough, because everybody is so different. You know, is legacy important to you? Do you already have enough income, like Laura said? You know, what is your risk tolerance levels? Do we need to think about Social Security, Medicare, taxes? There's so many variables that go into retirement. It really needs to be customized, and we take pleasure and pride in doing that.
And a plan really should have 5 key parts like our retirement ready roadmap does, right? Investments we talked about, that's the piece that most people get from their advisor, that investment plan. But there are other 4, really other important pieces. That income plan, if we're going to draw down our portfolio, how are we going to do that? Where are we going to do that from? We also have to think about taxes. We have to think about healthcare planning. We have to think about legacy. All of these pieces and parts are super important, and it's a comprehensive plan. It's not just that one piece, not just the investment piece.
And it can seem overwhelming, but it just takes that first initial meeting, doesn't it?
It just takes that first step, that retirement ready review. Just come in and get that second opinion, because you can't get that second opinion from the first person that gave it to you, right?
That's true. And also you have to find the retirement planner that's the right fit for you, right? We're not necessarily the right fit for everybody out there. We work really well with folks that are close to retirement, in retirement, but we're not necessarily even from a personality perspective. It's important that you like your retirement planner because you want to have that long-term relationship over your whole retirement. But you need to, work with somebody, if you are in that retirement red zone, that last 10 years of working, first 10 years of retirement, that really understands the rules about distributing your portfolio in retirement. That's what we do really well. And also it has to be from a fit from our perspective too.
Absolutely.
I mean, as a fiduciary-based retirement planning company, we have to be able to work in your best interest and be able to better your situation in some way. So not every single client is right for us either.
Absolutely.
Such important information. And right now we're going to take a quick break, but if you're watching at home and would like to learn more and receive a no obligation retirement ready toolkit, or set up a call with Tim and Laura and get answers to your specific questions about your personal situation, just call or text the number that's right there on your screen, 440-345-6900. Text the word READY to that number and automatically receive a link to receive your own retirement ready toolkit. We'll be right back.
It was kind of scary because you're like, I have this pool of money, I don't know you, and I'm trusting you with this pool of money. To be honest, Tim is how I retired. I call it my knight in shining armor. He planned for things, and about 2 years ago, he kind of told me, you can go whenever you want. But when it came to making that call to walk away from the 24-year career I had, I panicked. And I called him and I'm like, okay, I need you to talk me off this ledge. Ran through everything, was like, you're fine, you're okay? I'm like, yep. Gave my notice, I was ready. And I've been fine ever since. I called Tim my brother from another mother, we just clicked. We kind of bonded, and he explains everything. He's very matter of fact, he's very personable. I was totally okay with whatever he was doing. And best decision I made, 100% hands down.
Preservation Retirement Services. Get retirement ready. Call today.
Women have a lot to be proud of. We get a lot done, but too many times we take care of ourselves last. If you're married, there's a good chance you'll outlive your spouse and all the financial decisions will fall to you. If you're single, it will be up to you to fund your entire retirement. That's a lot to carry by yourself. I'm Laura Schultz, and at Preservation Retirement Services, we can help to take some of that off your shoulders. It's time to put yourself first for once. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Welcome back to Retirement Ready TV, and we're back with Tim and Laura Schultz with Preservation Retirement Services right here in Cleveland. And I have another tough question for you that I'm sure a lot of people are out there are thinking right now. What if someone who hasn't done the best job of saving, or let's say maybe they got a little bit of a late start on saving for retirement, what would you say to them?
Yeah, geez, maybe yesterday or at least today, start today.
And it might be time to check in with a retirement professional. Even if you don't have those assets already, think of it like a personal trainer, right? If you need help and need accountability to try to figure out, I'm here, how do I get to here? How do I get more discipline with my financial life? Because really at the end, that's what it comes down to, discipline. There's some pieces you can't control. You can't go back in the past and save more, but you can look forward and try to figure out, how can I put more money away each month? One thing you're in control of is budget. We're always talking about budget, aren't we, Tim?
Always, always.
It's so important in retirement. People focus on, money that they've saved, but one thing you are in control of, how much money goes out the door every single month. So if you're worried about having enough money in retirement, you can start thinking about getting that budget in check now to prepare yourself, but reach out to a financial professional that has the tools that maybe you don't have to figure out, what do I need to do to get where I want to go?
And it could start today.
Today.
All right. Well, let's say somebody's done a pretty good job of saving.
The other side of
The
it.
other side of it, yeah. Like I feel like I've got a handle on things. I've already been working with the financial advisor for years, and they probably, note I said probably, have done a pretty good job for me. But now I'm getting closer to retirement, and I'm really not looking to make a switch necessarily. But wouldn't it be great to get a second opinion on where I am in my retirement planning journey?
Yeah, we come across that one a lot, right? I feel like I'm okay, kinda, but I just need a second opinion. I feel like maybe there's something missing.
And it's just like with anything else in your life, right? If you're getting a roof done, you probably get a couple quotes before you get a roof put on your house. If you have a medical issue, you probably get a second opinion from a doctor. We're talking about your life savings here. It's not something to take lightly. So if you're using words like maybe and probably, I don't know if I quite have that plan yet, what is the harm in getting a second opinion? It's complimentary. Tim and I are super nice. We love to sit down. We'll give you an honest...
I can say they are. It's true. It's true.
We'll give you an honest assessment of where you are. And this is what we find a lot of times. People have that retirement planner, yes, but it's the same one that they've had since their 20s, 30s, 40s. There's kind of two different types of retirement planners out there. What we call accumulation specialists, folks that are really focused on growing your money as quickly as possible. And then distribution specialists, people who are thinking about the whole plan, how to distribute that money in retirement. They're thinking about taxes. They're thinking about healthcare and Social Security and legacy. That's what Tim and I do. And if you're in that accumulation mindset, you're still with that retirement planner that was helping you in your 30s try to grow your money as quickly as possible in the market, you might have too much risk on the table that could really impact your retirement when you do make that decision to become voluntarily unemployed. We find that all the time, don't we, Tim, that people have too much risk in their portfolio when they come in for that second opinion.
They do. When you transition from that accumulation phase of your life, it can be a very long time. I mean, think about that. Right after high school, the first job out of college, when you start your career, your primary goal is to just accumulate money, right? Put money into that 401k, hopefully start an IRA or Roth. And that's what you're doing for many, many years, 3-4 decades potentially.
Just letting it grow.
Grow, accumulate. But when you get into that retirement phase and you're approaching or you're almost there, you need to start thinking differently. And you're coming into that distribution phase. And that's when you need to start thinking about risk a little bit different. And when a lot of people...
Diversification, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when people come into our office and start talking about these questions, one of the really powerful rules we use is called the rule of 100. And that's probably a good thing to talk about at the light board, which I'm going to go to right now and talk about it, okay?
All right, take it away.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's segment of the Retirement Ready Light Board. And like I do every week, I want to try to explain a complex retirement principle or subject on the television screen for you, because if you're like me and you're a visual person, I think this might help. Today, I want to talk about the rule of 100. And the rule of 100 really talks about risk. And how it works is you take 100 minus your age equals the percent of your portfolio that should be exposed to market loss. It's also known as the prudent investment rule. So to kind of make this understandable to you, let's take some examples here. If you're 50 years old, you take 100 minus 50, and we get 50, right? So that means 50% of your portfolio, that's the maximum amount, can be exposed to market loss. Why? Well, because you're young, right? When in regards to retirement planning, retirement could be 20, 30 years down the road. So you have a lot of time in case the market goes down to recover as the market goes up. Now, as you get a little bit older, you mature a little bit more, we get a little more refined in life, and your age goes up a little bit. Let's say we're at 60. Well, now we're at 40%. Only 40% max of your portfolio should be exposed to market loss. Let's keep this going. What about if we're 70? 100 minus 70 equals 30%. As you can see, as our age goes up, the risk in our portfolio should be going down. We should be getting more safe on our portfolio. And the reason is because when we're taking income out of your portfolio, when you're in that distribution phase, it is more risky, and the market downturns can definitely affect us more. Losses hurt more than gains help. Let me say that again. Losses hurt more than gains will help. Now listen, if you're 30, 40 years old, take what I say, crumble it up and throw it out the window. But if you're in that kind of retirement red zone, that last 10 years of your working career or your first 10 years into retirement, losses in the market will hurt more than your gains. As we get older, our risk needs to come down on our portfolio. Now this isn't like the steadfast rule, this isn't the end-all be-all rule, but everybody that comes into Preservation Retirement Services and sits down with Laura and I in our private conference room, we start with this conversation about the rule of 100 to get us a better idea where you stand with your risk and your risk comfortability levels. I hope that makes sense. I hope that I explained the rule of 100 to you. I got to head back to the studio and see what Laura is up to. I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Tim. That was very helpful. Next, we have one of my favorite segments, Women Get Retirement Ready. So, Laura, we have a question that's been sent to us by one of your favorite clients, and she's agreed to let us use it on the air. So here it is. Andrea, are you there?
Maximizing Social Security. What does that really mean? And is there a difference because I'm a female?
All right, Andrea, that is a great question. Social Security is something that's on a lot of ladies' minds because for most women, that's their primary source of fixed income in retirement. And so when we're thinking about maximizing Social Security, what we're doing is figuring out for each particular woman, what is the Social Security strategy that makes the most sense in her financial plan? There's a lot of different aspects of this. If you were married if you are married now or were married, were divorced, widowed, you could potentially take Social Security based on your own working record. But if you were one of those women that perhaps stayed home to prioritize family, maybe you don't have that high of a Social Security based on your earning record. So then we have to look on, does it make sense to take benefits based on the working record of your current spouse, ex-spouse, widow? That's one piece. And also when to start Social Security. You can start Social Security as early as 60 for widow's benefits or as early as 62 for retirement benefits and all the way up to age 70. So there's a lot of different decision points to make. And another piece that overlays that is taxes. You can even start Social Security while you're still working, but you'll get taxed on it. What makes sense given your personal financial plan, your personal financial goals, longevity, right? Are you one of those ladies that might live to be 101 like my grandma did? I know. And so, maybe there is some value to waiting longer to get the highest possible monthly benefit if you think you could, potentially outlive your retirement. There are so many pieces of information to really sift through. That's why it's really important to get an advisor to help you do that. I always say folks go to a financial advisor to get investment advice, but if your number one source of fixed income and retirement is Social Security, shouldn't you have someone weigh in on when you should turn that on, what benefit? This is really important question we get from a lot of ladies. So if you're not quite sure what the right strategy is for you, absolutely give us a call, reach out. We'd love to help you do that. Something we have a lot of expertise on at Preservation Retirement Services.
That is so fantastic. And if you have a question you'd like to see addressed on this show, just text the word question to the number on your screen right now. It's 440-345-6900, and you'll receive a reply with instructions on how to do just that.
And Michelle, at Preservation Retirement Services, we really do have that focus on women and making sure they feel heard in retirement. You can see our logo behind us, Women Get Retirement Ready. I do events for women across Cleveland that, women only, so that they can come into a safe space, a judgment-free zone, and ask their questions and engage with other women who are on that journey to financial literacy. Something that's super important to me to make sure, because I was once that person that didn't know what to do, that didn't have financial literacy. I tell the story in my seminar. I was getting divorced more than a decade ago, and I realized I didn't even know the password to my own bank account. I didn't know if I had $5,000 or $500,000 to my name. I certainly didn't know what was going on in my 401k, and this light bulb moment went on. I was very educated. I'm a lawyer, for heaven's sakes. How did I get to a point where I didn't know what was happening in my financial life? And there are other women that find themselves in that position. There are some women that are definitely the CFOs of their family too, and they are on it. But either way, there is a safe place at Preservation Retirement Services. We love to have those conversations with women. Whether it's one-on-one with me, whether it's with Tim and I both, depending on the woman's preference, it's really important to us. So this is something that we love to do every week on this show and just as part of our daily practice at Preservation Retirement.
And it can be kind of scary having that conversation, but I imagine you feel so much better after.
For sure, it's vulnerable, but so many women say just going through the process, asking my questions, having somebody tell me I'm going to be okay, or even you're not going to be okay, but knowing what the answer to the question is. Do I have enough money to retire? People find just going through that process, our Retirement Ready review, ending up with our Retirement Ready roadmap, that financial plan, they find so much confidence just in that process and having somebody to talk to and ask their questions, because we as financial planners have the tools that you just don't have. I always say, if you're a nurse, I don't know how to be a nurse. I don't know how to give somebody a shot or do an IV. Why do you think if you're not a financial planner, you know everything there is to know about finances? Most folks don't, and they could really use some help, and we'd love to provide that service for them.
I just want to say once again how much I appreciate your focus on women's issues in regards to retirement planning. It's just amazing.
All right. Do you think we should invite Tim back?
I mean, maybe after the break?
Yeah,
let's do after the break. Okay. All right, we'll be right back. Oh.
Women have a lot to be proud of. We get a lot done. But too many times, we take care of ourselves last. If you're married, there's a good chance you'll outlive your spouse and all the financial decisions will fall to you. If you're single, it will be up to you to fund your entire retirement. That's a lot to carry by yourself. I'm Laura Schultz, and at Preservation Retirement Services, we can help to take some of that off your shoulders. It's time to put yourself first for once. We look forward to seeing you soon.
We went to Maine this summer. We go to Florida a couple times a year. We took the grandkids up to Michigan fishing, just living the dream right now.
Yeah, that's the one thing we really wanted to do was travel and adventure in our retirement. And we weren't even sure before, what we'd be able to do. But after partnering with Tim and Laura, it's like, okay, we're good. Tim and Laura were able to show it to us, visually show us, where it would go and how it would grow and how to diversify. And that, we'd be able to actually have fun and leave a legacy for the kids. When we come in, it's like visiting friends, and it's a partnership. They educated us so much. I thought we were fairly, knowledgeable about it, but when it comes down to it, there was a lot of missing pieces that were more about preserving what we have. Everything that they do is, pinpointed to us. This is our family.
Take control of your future. Preservation Retirement Services. Get retirement ready. Call today.
Welcome back to Retirement Ready TV. Now, I have a question for both Tim and Laura. What does it look like to go from first time you meet somebody to becoming an actual client?
That's a great question, Michelle. It all starts with our Retirement Ready review, and we take it through, steps. We like to think of it as visits. And that first visit is just a discovery visit, and that one's fun. We just talk. We listen more than talking, actually, and really find out hopes, dreams, fears, and concerns of the person that comes in and sees us.
It's very much a conversation because we have to find out, what do you have now? What are your goals in retirement? Do you need income in retirement? We have to ask all of these questions to our potential client to inform our next visit, which is what we call our strategy visit, where Tim and I start to develop recommendations, because you told us minimizing taxes is really important and maximizing legacy. That plan looks one way, whereas if somebody just wants to grow their money as quickly as possible, that plan looks very different. So based on whatever we hear in that first visit, we develop a strategy in the second visit. It's big picture. We're saying we think you should move this to this, diversify in this way. We should think about this when it comes to tax planning. Maybe we're talking about Roth conversions. Once we get some agreement on that strategy in the second visit, because we have to know what the strategy is, then we move into our third visit. We call it implementation. That's when we're fleshing out the investment piece, because we have to know and agree with the clients. They're co-building this plan with us. It's not us saying, you have to do this. We're saying, does this seem reasonable to you? Does this sound like what you want from a plan perspective? Yeah. Once we are there and agree on the strategy, then we move into investments. We start talking about, what are we going to do in the market? Are we going to use annuities? Are we going to use life insurance? There's a lot of different ways to flesh out that portfolio, and it's all dependent on what is our strategy.
And it's not until that third visit when we actually start, signing paperwork, and that's when people get really nervous. It goes back to that first visit. A lot of people get nervous to have to sign stuff. Are you going to be moving things right away? And then, no, we take things in steps or visits, like Lou's saying. It really isn't to that third visit, that implementation, when that's when we're going to start moving money over if need be.
Because we want them to be comfortable with the plan first before they say, Tim and Laura, manage my money for me. Yeah. And then, of course, the last step in our process is reviewing progress.
That's the one that's most often overlooked, by the way.
Yeah, it's super important. Some clients it's annually, some clients it's more frequently. We don't have a set schedule. It's really dependent on the plan and the client and what their needs are. But it's really, really important to us to check in with our clients at least annually, because heaven knows that something could change with the market over a year. And things change with our clients too. They decide to move. They decide to start working part-time. They decide to stop working. They have an inheritance. Any number of things can change with them that affects the plan. And so it's important for us to check in to make sure we don't need to make any changes.
Yep.
It's fantastic. Sometimes we need a little hand-holding. I know there's some folks out there. Just help us through the process.
Don't we all, right?
We'll get there.
And we take our time because people are worried they're going to come in and we're going to sell them something. And we're going to make them sign paperwork 5 minutes after meeting them. It's absolutely not that, because we have to get comfortable with each other.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Tim and Laura. We appreciate you being here and all the great information. Can't believe our time's up for today.
Goes so fast.
No, every week fast. But if people would like to know more about what you do, how to get a hold of you, and set up that plan and work today, what do they do?
Well, we are offering a complimentary retirement-ready assessment for everyone. The key thing is, remember, it's just one phone call. One phone call, one number, 440-345-6900.
You can call, you can text. You just got to call that number, text that number anytime. And if you text the word ready, you will receive a simple form to fill out to receive your retirement ready toolkit. Or you can go ahead and schedule that no obligation introductory phone call. We can just have a conversation to see if we might be a fit to work together. You can talk to us at Preservation Retirement Services. We'd love, Tim and I, to help you with your retirement goals. Again, that phone number, call or text 440-345-6900.
Or, of course, you can always visit us online at retirewithprs.com. That's retirewithprs.com.
Don't wait. Thank you so much.
Do it now.
Do it now. Do it today. We will see you next week. Thank you.